Michael and the Evil Leprechaun. A supernatural horror story. Part 1, The Book. Michael O'Rucker had always believed in hard work and prayer. Ever since the night his parents died in that rain-slicked car crash on Highway 171, he had carried the burden of 5 younger siblings on his shoulders. 3 brothers, 2 sisters, all under his care, all looking to him like he was both father and mother. He worked 2 jobs, slept 4 hours a night, and still found ways to make them laugh. But beneath the tired smiles and take-out dinners, he prayed every night for a miracle. That's why when he and his friends dared each other to explore the old O'Mela house at the edge of town, he didn't expect to find anything but dust and graffiti. The place was Rummarud haunted, the kind of urban legend that got whispered about in gas stations. Inside, the floorboards moaned, and the air smelled of mold and something metallic. Michael's flashlight flickered across an old desk, half swallowed by cobwebs. There, lying perfectly centered, was a book. Its leather was cracked, but pulsed faintly, as if something inside still breathed. The pages shimmered with faded ink that twisted when he tried to read it. Strange runes danced in the light, rearranging themselves into words that looked like prayers written backward. He took it home. He shouldn't have. That night, when his siblings slept and thunder rolled over the roof, Michael read the first 3 pages. It spoke of a deal, 1 favor for a lifetime of fortune, 1 promise for the power to protect those you love. And then the line that changed everything. Speak the name of the keeper of gold, and your wish shall bind the 2 of you in blood and favor. Michael whispered the words aloud. The candlelight shuddered, and for a moment the shadows bent forward to listen. And then nothing. He closed the book, disappointed, but by morning the miracle had already begun. Part 2, The Bargains. In the days that followed, luck wrapped itself around Michael like a warm coat. Bills were mysteriously paid. His boss offered him a raise. A neighbor who had owed the family money suddenly showed up with an envelope full of cash. His youngest sister recovered from her fever overnight. Everything he prayed for seemed to fall right into place. Then one night, he dreamed of a small man in green, sitting atop a mound of gold coins that shimmered like dying stars. The figure grinned, his teeth too sharp, his eyes glowing the color of fireflies trapped in amber. "Ah, Mikey boy," the creature said, voice lilting like a song from the old country. "I heard your wish clear as a church bell, and I kept me end of the bargain." Michael tried to ask who he was, but the dream folded into laughter, high-pitched, metallic, and endless. When he woke, a faint smell of burnt clover lingered in the air. Life went on, until the night the creature appeared in waking life. Michael was coming home from work when the streetlights blinked out one by one. The air thickened, and a cold giggle slithered through the dark. A figure stepped out from the shadows, short, dressed in a tattered emerald coat, and carrying a cane tuppered with a lump of gold. His eyes gleamed red. "Time to pay the piper, lad," it said. "I've come to collect me favor." Michael's voice shook. "What do you want?" The leprechaun smiled, his grin splitting too wide. "Just a wee favor, as the book promised. 1 act and we'll be square." "What kind of act?" The creature's shadow stretched long, wrapping around Michael's feet. "Open the door for me, lad. There's a place I can't step without your will. Just say I'm welcome in your home." Every instinct screamed no. Michael turned and ran. That was his first mistake. Part 3, The Deaths. The next morning, his brother Danny was found dead in his sleep. No wounds, no explanation. Just a look of terror frozen on his face. 2 days later, his sister Lily drowned in the bathtub, though the water had barely covered her ankles. Each death came with a calling card, a small gold coin placed neatly beside the body. Michael stopped sleeping. He burned the book, but it only reappeared on his nightstand, pristine, untouched, waiting. His friends stopped answering his calls. Every time he saw a flash of green in the corner of his eye, laughter followed. "Favor refused, debt unpaid," whispered voices in the vents. A promise made in greed cannot be undone without blood. He tried to send his remaining siblings away, but tragedy followed them: a car crash, a fire, a freak accident with a falling tree. One by one, they were taken. And every time, he heard that mocking, sing-song voice in his head. "Ah, Mikey, Mikey, ye sh'd've kept your word." When the last coffin was lowered into the earth, Michael stood in the rain, hollowed out and trembling. He knew what had to come next. He had to finish what he started. Part 4, The Return. Michael went back to the Omola house, the place where it all began. The book was waiting for him on the same dusty desk, like it had never left. This time, he read past the 3rd page. The script twisted into words that bled and shimmered. The keeper of gold cannot be slain by mortal hand. He feeds on broken promises. He dies only by the name that birthed him. Michael read on, the storm outside growing violent. To end the bargain, you must give what you gained, and speak the final verse when his true form is revealed. He turned the last page, and a drop of blood from his fingertips splattered across the parchment. The book drank it. Then the laughter came again, louder, closer. The walls trembled, the floorboards split open, and from the cracks rose the leprechaun, not small now, but towering, his face a rotting mask of gold and shadow. "You can't cheat me, boy," it hissed, voice like scraping metal. "You wanted power and I gave it. Now pay what's owed." Michael stood firm. "I didn't want power, I wanted to protect them." The creature's grin twisted. "And now they're safe from this wretched world, aren't they?" With trembling hands, Michael began to recite the words he'd memorized from the final page. The creature lunged, but every word made it recoil. Its skin cracked like old gold. It screamed, the sound tearing the air. "Finish it, boy, speak me true name if ye dare." The name burned itself into Michael's mind, ancient and impossible to pronounce. But he spoke it anyway, through blood and tears. The leprechaun's body convulsed, shrieking as light poured from its mouth and eyes. The gold coins melted into black ash, and the book ignited in a pillar of green fire. When the smoke cleared, only silence remained. Part 5, Redemption and the Price. Michael woke up in his house. The sun was rising, birds were singing. For a moment, everything felt normal. He ran to the bedrooms. His siblings were there, alive, laughing, eating breakfast. Tears of relief fell down his face. Somehow, the ritual had worked. He'd undone the curse. But when he looked in the mirror, he froze. His reflection wasn't his own. His eyes gleamed gold. His teeth looked sharper, and behind him, faint but visible, stood the leprechaun, smiling. "Ye won, lad," it whispered softly, "but every bargain has its balance. Someone's got to take me place." Michael looked down. His hands were turning green, his skin hardening, glittering faintly like gold leaf. His reflection smiled even when he didn't. Outside, the sound of children's laughter faded into echoes. And in the abandoned O'Malley house, the book appeared once more on the old desk, its cover clean, its title glowing faintly. "The Keeper of Gold." And somewhere in the distance, a new voice whispered the first page aloud. "The end. Epilogue, the circle never ends." 10 years passed. Michael's story became rumor, a whispered warning traded among the old houses of the neighborhood. His siblings grew up and scattered. None of them ever spoke his name in daylight. But the youngest, Ava, never forgot. She was only 10 when Michael disappeared. Now 20, she'd begun dreaming about him again, dreams of dark water and gold dripping from the walls. In the dreams, Michael stood by a tree, whispering her name, his eyes hollow. Behind him, something small and grinning moved in the shadows. One night, unable to bear it anymore, Ava returned to the old house. Everything was just as he'd left it, quiet, air heavy with dust. And on the nightstand, beside the empty bed, there it was. The book. Its cover was clean now, smooth, black leather that looked new. She touched it, and a warmth pulsed under her fingertips. She should have walked away. Instead, she opened it. The first page was blank. The second, too. But on the third page, faint letters began to rise, written in something that looked like gold. All that's broken shall be made whole again. Ava felt tears sting her eyes. Her brother had died for her, she knew it somehow. But the book seemed to hum, calling to the part of her that still missed him. She whispered, "If I could see you again, just once." The lamp flickered. A gust of wind swept through the room, even though the windows were closed. The pages turned themselves, stopping on a passage written in a strange, winding script. The words rearranged themselves, forming a single line she could read. "Speak the keeper's name." She froze. The room seemed to tighten, the air heavy. Somewhere deep in her memory, she could still hear Michael's voice calling a name, a whisper from his final night. A chill crawled up her spine. "No," she murmured, stepping back. "No, I'm not stupid." But then she heard a faint sound, a voice, gentle and broken. "Ava, it's me." Michael's voice. Tears streamed down her face. "Michael." The voice came again, stronger now. "You can save me, just say the name." The walls seemed to breathe. The light turned red. On the mirror across the room, something was written in condensation, 6 crooked letters. Lorcan. Ava trembled, her lips parted. The air around her whispered, urging her, begging her to speak it. But deep inside, something screamed, "Don't." She slammed the book shut and ran. Down the hall, down the stairs, through the front door and into the rain. Behind her she heard it, faint laughter, high and cold, following her all the way to the street. When she turned back, the house lights flickered once, then went out completely. The next morning, police found the house burned to the ground. No body was ever recovered. But they say sometimes, when the storm clouds gather over the east side of town, a golden glimmer can be seen flickering in the ruins, like someone buried treasure deep beneath the ash. And if you stand too close, you might hear a whisper. "A favor's a favor, lass, a fair trade always." Then laughter. Soft at first, then sharp, then gone. The end. Thanks for listening. Please stay tuned for the up and coming audio series by Sack Music and Recordings. They found a letter among the ashes. No one knew who wrote it. The paper was clean, untouched by the fire, folded once, sealed with a faint trace of gold dust. It read, "To whoever finds this." If you're reading these words, then the book has already chosen you. Don't open it, don't whisper to it. It listens, even in silence. He said there's always a balance, that every wish has a weight. I didn't believe him until it was too late. Michael thought he could outsmart him. I thought I could save Michael. But the leprechaun never dies. He only waits for the next desperate heart. If you hear laughter, in the dark run. The ink hadn't dried. Somewhere in the distance, thunder rolled, and a faint glimmer of gold shimmered in the rain. Shreveport never really sleeps, it just hums. Freight trains moan in the distance, neon signs buzz over half-empty bars, and the Red River moves slow and muddy under the bridges, carrying the city's secrets out to nowhere. It was past midnight when Reggie Bell, a drifter who'd seen too much and slept too little, ducked behind the abandoned bus depot off Yorie Drive. He wasn't looking for trouble, just something he could sell for a few bucks. Then he saw it. A small, black leather book lying in a puddle that hadn't soaked through. It gleamed faintly under the streetlight, like the rain itself refused to touch it. Reggie wiped the grime off and flipped it open. All the pages were blank except one. Written in sharp, gold ink. "A favor for a favor." He chuckled. "Yeah, right, ain't nobody doing favors out here no more." He stuffed it into his coat pocket and turned toward the street. That's when the air changed, heavy and electric. The light above him flickered, buzzing, then popped with a sharp crack. The shadows stretched long across the brick wall. A soft laugh slipped through the rain. "Even in, Reggie," a voice sang, lilting and low. "Fine night to make a deal, eh?" He froze. "Who's there?" The sound came from behind him, playful, musical, and wrong. When he turned, the alley was empty. Only the dark glistened where the puddles rippled. Then, at his feet, something rolled out of the shadows, a small golden coin shining like fire in the wet dirt. Reggie bent down, fingers trembling. The coin was warm. He looked around. "Man, I don't want no trouble." The voice came again, close to his ear this time. "Oh, I think you do, lad. You just don't know it yet." The rain fell harder, the city hummed louder. And in that drowned alley behind the depot, another deal was struck, one that would drag Shreveport into the same curse that had claimed Michael O'Rourke a decade before. Chapter 1: The Coin and the Book. Shreveport never slept, it just decayed. Neon lights buzzed over liquor stores, and the Red River rolled slow and thick, the color of old blood. The humidity clung to everything like a fever. The city was tired, old, beautiful, and broken. That night the rain came hard and mean, soaking the alleys behind Yory Drive. A rusted sign blinked outside the abandoned bus depot, "No TSBSSING." But Reggie Bell never paid attention to signs. Signs didn't pay for food. He dug through a dumpster, hands shaking, his breath clouding in the cold mist. He found a cracked phone, a wet magazine, a doll's head, nothing worth a dime. Then something caught his eye. A black leather book sat upright in the trash, untouched by rain, perfectly dry. The cover shimmered faintly, like gold veins pulsing beneath its surface. He hesitated. What the hell's this? He lifted it out. The air felt thicker, warmer. The second he touched it, thunder rolled somewhere over Cross Lake. Inside, the pages were blank, all except one. A single line written in glowing, golden ink. "A favor for a favor." Reggie smirked. "Yeah, I'll favor myself right to the pawn shop." He stuffed it in his coat and walked toward the corner, muttering about luck. That's when the streetlight above him flickered. The rain slowed, drops hanging midair like beads of glass. A voice whispered behind him, soft, musical, and wrong. "Even in, Reggie Bell." Reggie froze. "Who's there?" Silence, then a chuckle, playful and sharp. "You've found something of mine." He turned. No one, just the hum of rain and the echo of laughter somewhere far too close. His hand brushed against something hard in his pocket, a coin, heavy, gold, warm to the touch. It hadn't been there before. He took it out. The coin was engraved with a face, grinning, eyes hollow. He felt dizzy. "Man, I ain't doing this, not tonight." He threw it to the ground. The coin hit the pavement, spun, and stopped, standing perfectly upright. Then it rolled toward him. Uphill against the slope. Reggie's breath hitched. He stepped back, slipped, and fell hard into the puddle. When he looked up, a small figure was standing at the mouth of the alley, no taller than a child, dressed in a tattered green coat that shimmered in the dim light. A bowler hat tilted low over its face. "Don't be rude now," the figure said, voice sing-song and ancient. "When someone gives you a gift, you take it." Reggie scrambled to his feet. "Stay the hell away from me." The figure smiled. Its teeth gleamed like polished gold. "Oh, but you've already taken it, lad. You've touched the book. That makes us bound." "Bound, man, I don't even know you." The leprechaun tilted its head. "Oh, ye do, you just don't remember." It stepped forward, and every puddle rippled outward as if bowing. "Name's Leprechaun, keeper of gold, broker of favors. You'll be needin' both, I reckon." Reggie's heart pounded. "I don't need nothin', I just want to live." Leprechaun grinned. "Aye, and that's what I give, life, fortune, freedom." He leaned close, eyes glowing faintly green. "All I ask in return is a favor someday." The world seemed to hum. Rain froze midair again. Reggie felt his chest tighten, his breath cut short, his mind fadding. He wanted to say no, but the words came out on their own. Deal. Lorcan's smile widened until it didn't look human anymore. Splendid, then your luck begins. The leprechaun touched Reggie's forehead with one sharp finger. The world went black. When Reggie woke, the rain was gone. The alley was dry. And in his pocket, the gold coin. He stumbled out into the street, dazed, heart hammering. Down the block, a crowd gathered. Something was burning, a car flipped on its side, flames licking at the night. Sirens wailed. He recognized the car. It was the same man who'd fired him 2 weeks ago. Reggie stared at the firelight flickering on the coin in his hand. That was the night Shreveport started to change. Chapter 2: The Turning of Fortune. Morning came grey and heavy over Shreveport. The rain had stopped, but the streets still glistened like oil. Reggie sat on the curb outside a gas station on Line Avenue, staring at the coin in his hand. It wasn't normal gold. It didn't even look minted, just carved, rough, almost pulsing under his thumb. Every few seconds it seemed to hum faintly, like it was breathing. He told himself he'd imagined the voice last night, the little man, the book, the way the air froze. He'd been tired, hungry, seeing things. Then his phone buzzed, a number he didn't recognize. Yeah, he answered. Reggie Bell, a woman asked. This is the city offices. You applied for sanitation work last month. His pulse jumped. Yeah. Well, there's an opening. Someone just quit this morning. If you can get here by 9, it's yours. Reggie looked at the cracked screen clock. 8:43 a.m. He laughed under his breath. Yeah, I can get there. He hung up, shoving the coin in his pocket and running toward downtown. But as he turned the corner, he stopped cold. The street was blocked off by police tape, and across the road, fire crews were still hosing down the remains of a burned-out car. The same car from last night. The same man who'd fired him. They were zipping the body bag now. Reggie's stomach dropped. He stared at the gold coin. It glinted once, catching the morning light like a wink. He got the job that day. Good pay, steady hours. For the first time in years, things started turning around. 2 weeks later, he found a wallet on the sidewalk behind the sanitation truck. Nearly $400 inside, no ID. He hesitated, looked up at the clouds, then pocketed it. That night, his landlord slipped a letter under his door. Rent reduced, maintenance overcharge correction. It didn't make sense, but he wasn't about to argue with good luck. Until luck started spreading outward to people around him. And every blessing came with a shadow. His coworker won a small lottery ticket, died the same night, heart failure. His neighbor got her lost dog back. The next morning, a gas leak took out her whole kitchen. Reggie tried not to connect the dots, tried not to think about the coin or the way the shadows sometimes stretched wrong in his apartment. But one night, he came home to find the book on his table again. The same black cover, the same gold shimmer. He hadn't brought it home. It was open to a new page. Words written in the same curling gold. The balance grows heavy, the favor comes due. Reggie slammed it shut and threw it across the room. Nope, not doing this. The lights flickered. A soft voice came from the kitchen. Tusk, ungrateful already. Reggie turned and froze. Lorcan sat on the counter, legs crossed, swinging them casually. His hat was gone now, his face sharp, lined, eyes glowing faint green. You've done well, lad, Lorcan said. Workin' hard. Eatin' good, but don't forget our arrangement. There ain't no arrangement, Reggie said. You tricked me. Lorcan smirked. Tricked? You said the word yourself. Deal. That's as old as the hills, that is. I didn't ask for people to die. But that's not my doing. That's just balance. Fortune tips one way, something else tips back. Reggie's hands shook. Then take it back. I don't want it. Lorcan hopped off the counter, landing soundlessly. Oh, I can't. Luck once granted sticks to the soul. Only thing that can remove it is death or another trade. Reggie swallowed hard. What kind of trade? The leprechaun's grin widened. A favor, of course. The words slid through the air like knives. Reggie's breath came ragged. What kind of favor? Oh, I'll let you know when I need it. And with that, Leprechaun vanished. The light steadied, the hum stopped. But the coin in Reggie's pocket had grown hot, so hot it burned through the fabric. He threw it on the floor, but it didn't cool. It spun once, then again, and stopped pointing toward the window. Outside, a siren wailed, and smoke began rising 2 blocks away. Chapter 3: Blood in the River. The smell hit first, that thick chemical rot of the Red River. It hung over Shreveport like breath from a dying thing. Reggie stood at the edge of Clyde Fant Parkway, staring at the smoke twisting into the sky. The warehouse across the river was burning, flames tearing through steel like paper. Sirens wailed, lights strobed off the water. He didn't move. Didn't need to. He already knew what it meant. Leprechaun's voice echoed faint in the back of his skull, smooth as oil. Balance, lad, always balance. Reggie pressed a shaking hand to his temple. No, not me, not again. The wind shifted, carrying the sharp tang of blood through the air, not just smoke. Blood. And underneath it, that faint humming again. The same vibration the coin made. He turned to leave, but a figure stepped out from under the bridge. A woman in a gray trench coat, badge on her hip, eyes sharp and exhausted. Reggie Bell. He froze. Who's askin'? Detective Alana Briggs, SPD. I think you and I need to talk. They sat in her unmarked car, engine idling, red-blue lights bouncing off the windshield. You worked at the sanitation depot, she asked, flipping open a notepad. Yeah, been there a couple weeks. You know anyone named Carter Miles? Reggie's stomach twisted. Yeah, was my supervisor. Briggs nodded grimly. He's dead. Fire at his property last night. Arson, and you were on shift with him yesterday morning. He swallowed. You think I had something to do with that? I think you've been close to a lot of strange things lately. She looked at him, eyes narrowing. Your landlord, your coworker, now this. You got any idea why death follows you around, Mr. Bell? Reggie stared at the window. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Try me. He almost laughed. You ever heard of a leprechaun? She raised a brow. You mean like green hat, pot of gold, Irish bar mascot? He turned to her, eyes hollow. Not that kind, not anymore. There was silence for a long beat. Then Briggs exhaled. You on something? Reggie shook his head. Not a damn thing. That night, the dreams started again. Flashes of fire, gold dripping from ceilings, faces screaming as coins melted through their skin. He woke in sweat to the sound of laughter, high, musical, echoing off the walls. Leprechaun sat in the corner again, this time in a dark suit. He was polishing the coin with a white cloth, humming an old Gaelic tune. You're attractin' attention, lad, he said without looking up. The detective, she's got eyes sharp enough to see through shadows, best be careful. What do you want from me? Leprechaun stopped humming. You know what I want, a favor, and it's time. Reggie's pulse thudded. What kind of favor? The leprechaun looked up, eyes glowing like swamp fur. There's a man, a collector of relics, deals in old faiths. He's got something that belongs to me, my shilling. Bring it back, and I'll lift the weight of your luck. Where is he? Warehouse District, Red River Storage, midnight. Reggie clenched his jaw. And if I do? Leprechaun's grin widened, teeth glinting sharp. Then the next fire won't be across the river. Midnight. Reggie parked 2 blocks away, heart hammering. The rain had started again, slow and cold. He broke into the warehouse, through a busted side door. Inside, rows of crates, shelves of old coins, talismans and books. The air stank of mildew and something older, incense maybe. And then he saw it. A glass case near the back, glowing faintly gold. Inside, a single, perfect coin. Lorcan's coin. Reggie reached for it. A voice behind him said, "You shouldn't have come here." He turned and saw a man in a dark suit, eyes black as the river at night. Not human eyes. The man smiled. "You're the one he sent." Reggie backed up. Who the hell are you?" "The price of what you owe." Before Reggie could move, the man's shadow shot out, stretching across the floor like smoke, wrapping around his ankles, pulling him to the ground. Reggie screamed as the glass case shattered, the coin flying into the air. It glowed white-hot and slammed into his chest, branding itself into his skin. The warehouse lights exploded. When Reggie woke, the building was empty. No man, no coin, no fire. Just the faint echo of Lorcan's voice, whispering through the rain. Debt paid in part, but never in full. He stumbled outside into the night. Down by the river, the water churned red, glowing faintly under the streetlights. He didn't know if it was blood, reflection, or something worse. He only knew this wasn't over. Lorcan's shadow waited somewhere in the dark, smiling. And the city of Shreveport had started whispering again. Chapter 4: The Favor's Price. Shreveport never slept. Even at 3 a.m., the hum of refineries and the buzz of neon from old bars crawled over the streets like restless spirits. Reggie walked through it all with his hoodie soaked and his mind fractured. Every shadow whispered his name, every flickering light carried a face. The mark on his chest still burned, a faint, circular scar shaped like the coin. He could hear it hum when he was alone, a heartbeat that wasn't his. The next day, he found Detective Briggs again. Or maybe she found him. She was waiting by the levee, smoking, hair pulled back against the wind. "You look like hell," she said. "Been livin' there," Reggie muttered. Your name popped up again, security footage from that warehouse. Fire investigators found melted gold in the floor. "You want to tell me what really happened?" He hesitated, then whispered, "He made me bring it back. Lorcan, he said I owed him a favor." Briggs tilted her head. "Lorcan, the guy you called a leprechaun." Reggie nodded. She flicked ash into the river. "You sure you're not just running from guilt?" "I seen him," Reggie snapped. "He ain't human, he's older than sin." Briggs stared at him for a long moment, then sighed. "Fine, prove it." That night she followed him to the house. The one where it all began, the abandoned place on the edge of town. The front door groaned open. Inside, dust floated like ghosts. The air was heavy, too still. Reggie walked ahead, flashlight trembling. "It was right here. We found the book here." They found it again under the floorboard, the same black leather cover, the same strange writing. When Briggs opened it, the pages rippled like they were breathing. "Jesus," she muttered. "Don't say that name," Reggie said. "He do like it." "Who doesn't?" The lights blew out. A low laugh rolled through the house, echoing off the walls. Something moved in the darkness, something small, sharp, and fast. Briggs drew her gun. "Who's there?" "Careful, detective," the voice purred. "He's not the only one who made a deal tonight." A figure stepped out, Lorcan, dressed in a black three-piece suit, eyes burning green. He tipped his hat politely. "Even in, lass." Briggs froze. "Holy." "Wrong word again," Lorcan smiled. He snapped his fingers. The room folded in on itself, walls stretching, shadows bleeding. Suddenly, they were somewhere else, a mirror version of the house. Everything black and gold, dripping like melted metal. Briggs raised her gun, but it clicked empty. Lorcan wagged a finger. "No iron tricks here." Reggie stepped forward. "You said the favor was done." "And it was," Lorcan replied, "but debts breed interest, lad. You broke the deal when you refused me the first time. Now the ledger calls for balance." What do you want? Reggie growled. Lorcan's grin widened. Your blood, freely given, or the life of someone who still believes in you. His eyes flicked to Briggs. Reggie moved between them. You ain't touching her. The leprechaun's smile turned thin. Then you choose to pay in pain. The walls began to scream. Faces pressed out from the blackness, his brothers, his sisters, mouths open, eyes hollow. Briggs dropped the book. It hit the floor, pages bursting open to symbols glowing red. Reggie grabbed it, flipping through with shaking hands. The text twisted itself into English. To bind the spirit, speak the name it bore before the fall. He looked up. Lorcan, that's your real name. The leprechaun's laughter cracked the air. Oh, that's the pretty name they gave me, but before I fell, I was called something your tongue would bleed to utter. Reggie stared at the book, then whispered, try me. The letters rearranged on the page, forming a single, impossible word, harsh, ancient, metallic. He spoke it. The floor erupted in light. Lorcan screamed, a sound like shattering glass. His body twisted, flickering between man and monster, gold and ash. Briggs stumbled back, covering her ears. What's happening? Reggie shouted over the roar, he's bound, but it ain't done yet. The leprechaun lunged, claws raking across Reggie's arm. Blood hit the floor, mixing with the symbols. The book drank it in. The light flared, and then silence. Just the smell of burnt clover. Lorcan was gone. Only the coin remained, spinning slowly on the floor before settling flat. Reggie picked it up, hand trembling. Briggs watched him. Is it over? He looked at the coin. It was cold again, dead. Yeah, he said, for now. They left the house. The sunrise bled red over the river. But as they drove away, Reggie didn't see the faint shimmer in the rear view, the shadow in the doorway smiling, hat in hand. Chapter 5, The Debt Paid in Gold. The next few days blurred. Shreveport moved like a city under spell, quiet, fog rolling in off the river, the air thick with the smell of rust and rain. Reggie tried to live again. Tried to be normal. He got a job at a repair shop on Linwood, kept his head down, kept the coin locked away in an old cigar tin. He told himself it was over. But evil doesn't end. It waits. It started small. A kid in the neighborhood swore he saw a man with green eyes watching from an alley. Briggs called about a homicide, a victim with gold dust in their wounds. And sometimes, when Reggie closed his eyes, he swore he could still hear Lorcan's laugh, faint as wind through a bottle. Then came the letter. Slid under his door. Unmarked, just one sentence written in crimson ink. A favor refused is never forgiven. He burned it immediately, but the ashes spelled something in the sink before fading. Tonight. Rain fell hard that evening, the kind that made the streets shine like black glass. Reggie sat on his couch, gun in hand, waiting. The clock struck midnight. The lights flickered once, twice. Then the world went silent. The TV shut off, the hum of the fridge died, even the rain outside stopped mid-drop. And from the darkness of the hall came that voice. Told ye, lad, debt never done. Lorcan stepped out, no longer the slick-talking demon in a suit. This form was older, worse. Skin stretched too tight over sharp bones, hair matted with blood, eyes burning gold like molten coins. He dragged a black cane behind him that left scorch marks where it touched. Thought you bound me, did you? Lorcan hissed. You only bound the name, not the hunger. Reggie raised his gun. Stay back. The leprechaun laughed, a high, ringing cackle that made the windows shake. Still using iron toys, you never learn. He flicked his wrist. The gun melted in Reggie's hand. Reggie screamed, clutching the burn. The mark on his chest flared again, red hot. Lorcan circled him slowly. I gave you luck, power, life. You used it, then spat on me. Now I'll take what's owed. Take me, Reggie said through gritted teeth. Leave everyone else out of it. Lorcan tilted his head. Ah, but you've no one left, have ye? Not since the fires, not since the river, just you and me, lad, just you. Reggie's knees buckled. He could feel the pull, his blood trying to obey, trying to kneel. He forced himself upright, gasping. You said one favor, that was the deal. Lorcan's smile sharpened. And I said one favor owed. I never said who decides when it's paid. He reached out, fingers like claws, slicing through the air. The walls peeled away, revealing black water swirling beneath the floorboards. It was Reggie's apartment anymore. It was the red river, wide and endless, filled with bodies glimmering gold beneath the surface. Reggie fell to his knees. I'm not afraid of you. Lorcan crouched, face inches from his. You should be. But the coin, the one he'd hidden, started to hum again. It slipped from the tin, rolling across the floor toward him, glowing faintly blue this time, not gold. Reggie grabbed it, the heat searing into his palm. He remembered the book's words. To end the bond, one must trade the source of fortune for the truth of loss. He knew what it meant. It meant blood, his own, freely given. He clenched the coin tight, whispered, for them, for my family. Then drove it straight into his chest. The room exploded with light. Lorcan screamed, a sound that cracked the air like thunder. His body convulsed, gold boiling out of his veins, face melting into shadow. No, he roared, you can't unmake a deal. Reggie's voice echoed back through the storm of light. Watch me. When it was over, the apartment was silent again. Rain fell outside, gentle this time. The lights flickered back on. Reggie lay on the floor, chest still smoking, hand wrapped around a coin that had turned black. Briggs burst in moments later, gun raised, eyes wide. Jesus, Reggie. He coughed, weak but alive. Don't say that name, he whispered, smiling faintly. She dropped beside him. What happened? He looked at the coin in his hand, paid the debt. Is it gone? Reggie's eyes drifted toward the window. The rain caught the streetlights, and for a second, she thought she saw a reflection watching from outside. A tall shadow in a hat, grinning. He smiled weakly, for now. They buried the coin in the riverbank that night. Reggie said nothing. Briggs stood beside him, silent, as the mud swallowed it whole. When they walked away, neither noticed the faint shimmer under the water. Something small. Something gold. Something laughing. Epilogue, the gold never sleeps. Months later, a boy skipping stones by the Red River found something shiny in the mud. A coin. Old, warm, carved with a single word that changed every time he looked at it. He pocketed it with a grin. And from the trees nearby, a voice whispered, soft as smoke. Ah, another lucky soul. Then silence, and the faint sound of laughter carried on the wind as Shreveport's lights flickered once more. Book 3, The Favor Unpaid. Chapter 1, The Whisper Market. 6 months had passed since the night Lorcan burned away. Shreveport still slept uneasily. Storms came harder that summer. The Red River swelled and spit out trash, sometimes gold flecks that shimmered like coins under the streetlights. Reggie Bell lived quietly now, or tried to. He'd moved to a shotgun house off Line Avenue, took night shifts fixing HVACs, kept his head down. But sleep wouldn't come easy, not since that last night. He'd see flashes when he closed his eyes, molten gold, twisted grins, the hiss of his own blood boiling. The world felt thin, like something on the other side was pressing its face against the glass. One night, while fixing a unit behind an old diner, Reggie found it. A symbol carved into the metal casing, a spiral of words he recognized. Gaelic, the same language from the book. He stepped back, chest tightening. No, no, not again. A voice spoke from behind him. Funny thing, that mark, you see it too. He turned. Detective Alana Briggs, same trench coat, same tired eyes. She held a cigarette that had long gone out. Didn't think I'd see you again, Reggie muttered. Didn't think I'd still be chasing the impossible, she said. But I'm seeing things I can't unsee, Belle, Maury bodies, burned gold in their veins, someone making deals again. Reggie stared at the mark. It ain't Lorcan, I killed him. Briggs blew smoke into the wind. Then who the hell is doing his job? That night, Reggie dug out the book again. He'd buried it in concrete, but somehow it was waiting in his closet, clean, untouched. He opened it. New pages had appeared, symbols shaped like coins, names written in black fire. The favor unpaid, one header read. Under it, when one broker falls, another rises. Below that, a list of names. And one jumped out, written in fresh red ink. Aldara, the broker of breaths. As he read it, the air in the room shifted. The lights flickered. A whisper slid behind his ear like silk. He was small-time, boy. You think one leprechaun runs the market of favors. You've only met the clerk. Reggie spun around. Who's there? Nothing. Just the sound of paper turning itself. The book's next page drew itself open. A map of Shreveport appeared, the river, the warehouses, downtown. At the bottom, one address burned into the paper. Chapter 2, The Bayou Exchange. The Bayou Exchange sat half-buried in floodwater, a decrepit warehouse 2 miles from the levee. Rumor said it used to be a speakeasy. Some said it still was, just not for humans. Reggie parked outside at midnight. Inside, the air smelled like rot and perfume. Rows of stalls lined the walls, merchants selling things that pulsed and whispered, bottled shadows, teeth that glowed. The place was crowded, but not alive. Every face looked stretched, hollow, pale. Dealers and debtors alike. He kept his head down until he heard a voice, soft, female, with a melody that didn't belong to earth. Looking for another deal, Mr. Bell. He turned. She was behind a counter draped in black silk, her eyes the color of frost. Aldara. Who are you? He asked. The one Lorcan served, she said, smiling faintly. You broke my banker, dear boy, now the balance falls to me. I'm not making another deal. Oh, but you already have. You spoke the coin's word when you bled it into your chest. That bound you to the market. You're part of the network now. What network? She leaned forward, voice like static. The favors market. We trade in desire. Luck, wealth, love, vengeance, all bought with what you mortals hoard most. Souls, years, blood, memory. Lorcan was my collector. His 4 left debts unpaid. And that ledger child carries your name. Reggie's pulse quickened. What happens if I don't pay? Aldara's grin widened. Then the debt collects itself. The candles blew out. Chapter 3, Debt Collectors. Over the next week, Shreveport fell into chaos. People started killing for luck, literally. One man slit his boss's throat claiming, he stole my fortune. A woman drowned her baby, screaming, it's what the coin wanted. Every crime scene had the same gold residue. Reggie watched the news, stomach tight. It's spreading. Briggs met him in her car. She tossed down a stack of photos. All these victims connected, each one made a wish. Each one got what they wanted for 3 days, then they died. Reggie rubbed his temples. That's Aldara's work. She's running Lorcan's trade. So we stop her, Briggs said. He shook his head. You can't stop her. She's older than prayer. The only way is to burn the market. And how do we do that? Reggie looked out the window at the storm clouds over the city. Same way I beat Lorcan, I find her real name. Chapter 4, The Forgotten Prayer. The book had changed again, now it hummed. At midnight, Reggie lit candles and read the text aloud. The walls bled black ink. A voice rose from the floorboards, the same one from months ago. "Lorcans, our lad, you're playin' with devils you don't understand." Reggie's heart stopped. "You're dead. Part of me is, the rest stuck here in your blood. You want her name, you'll need to give up something bigger than pain." "What do you mean?" "She was born before luck. To name her, you must forget the thing you love most." Reggie's voice cracked. "My family." Lorcan whispered, "Every memory, every face, they'll vanish from you and she'll vanish from the world." Reggie sat silent. He thought of his brother's laughter, his sister's voices, the nights by candlelight after their parents died. Tears ran down his face. If it ends this, it's worth it. He pressed his hand over his chest and whispered the invocation. The book screamed. Chapter 5, The Name of Loss. Aldara appeared before him, taller than shadows, face shifting between beauty and decay. "Do you think you can unmake me?" she purred. Reggie's eyes burned blue. "I know your true name." "Then speak it." He opened his mouth, but no sound came. His mind was blank, the names, the faces, gone. His family, gone. Lorcan's warning was true. He fell to his knees, sobbing, "No, no, what did I?" Aldara laughed. "See, you forget, you always forget, that's the price." But something else rose behind her. A shadow, small, twisted, grinning. "Lorcan." "Not quite love," he hissed. "He forgot them, but I remember every soul I took." He whispered the name. The room exploded. Aldara's scream tore through dimensions. Her body shattered into dust and light. The book burst into flames. When the smoke cleared, only Reggie and Lorcan remained. "You saved me," Reggie said. Lorcan chuckled, fading like smoke. "Oh no, lad, you just freed me." And then he was gone. Epilogue: The market moves. Shreveport rebuilt, the rain stopped. People said the murders ended. Reggie lived quietly again, but when he looked in the mirror, he sometimes saw gold in his eyes. And late at night, in dreams, he'd walk through a street that wasn't there, lined with booths and whispers, merchants of favors smiling under dim lanterns. Because the market never dies. It just changes management. And somewhere, far below the Red River, a new voice whispered from the dark. Chapter 1, What is this place? The bayou didn't forget. Even after the blood dried and the book was buried beneath a floorboard no one dared to lift, the air in Shreveport still hummed with something wrong. Reggie could feel it most nights, that same static in the air, the hum behind the silence, like the world holding its breath. He hadn't been the same since that night. The one when he and Detective Briggs burned the house, thinking they'd ended it. The cursed leprechaun, the deals, the killings. But nightmares still followed him, dreams of gold coins melting into blood, and Michael's voice whispering through smoke. "It's not over, Reggie, not yet." At first, he thought it was just guilt, trauma, they called it. He'd watched good people die, he'd seen shadows twist into flesh. But when the lights flickered every night at 3:03 a.m., the hour Michael died, and the whispers crept back, Reggie started to believe again. The curse wasn't gone. It was waiting. He sat in his apartment on Line Avenue, chain-smoking and staring at the old photo on his fridge, Michael and his siblings, back when life had color. Then came the knock. 3 slow, heavy taps. Reggie froze. He opened the door just a crack. The hallway was empty, except for a single gold coin sitting on the floor. Still warm. And when he bent to pick it up, a shadow moved behind him in the reflection of the peephole. A voice deep, layered, echoing from nowhere and everywhere. "The favors unpaid, Reggie." Reggie spun around, nothing. only his TV flickering, static dancing like fireflies. But in the static, Michael's face. Scarred, ghostly, eyes burning faint gold. "He's back," the spirit whispered. "And this time, he's not alone." The lights blew out, the coin clattered to the floor and rolled into darkness. And from that darkness came laughter, a sound like teeth scraping glass, echoing through the room. "A deal's a deal," it hissed. "And debts always come due." Chapter 2: The Market Below. Rain slicked the streets of downtown Shreveport, turning the neon into smears of red and green. Reggie walked fast, his hood up, his eyes darting at every shimmer of light that moved wrong. He wasn't alone anymore. Michael's spirit followed him, not always visible, but always felt. Sometimes it was a shimmer in the corner of Reggie's vision, sometimes a cold breath on his neck. Sometimes, when the air went still, Reggie could hear the faint sound of chains dragging across the floor. "You shouldn't have touched the coin," Michael's voice murmured. "It's a seal, a summons. The market opens tonight." Reggie's breath steamed in the rain. "What market?" "The one below." At first, Reggie thought he meant underground, like the tunnels beneath downtown. But as they turned onto a back alley behind an abandoned jazz club, the truth bled through. Symbols burned faintly on the brick wall, old Celtic runes, twisting like snakes. The air smelled of sulfur and wet gold. Michael's voice came again, closer now, like he was standing right behind him. "He trades in souls now, not just favors. Every deal made in his name feeds the market." Reggie reached out and touched the wall, and it gave way. The bricks rippled like water, and he stumbled forward into a tunnel of smoke and firelight. Below Shreveport was another city, a marketplace of the damned. Vendors stood behind makeshift stalls, their faces half hidden by glamour. Some looked human, some didn't. They traded trinkets, bones, blood-filled jars, and glowing parchment marked contract. And in the center, on a throne of melted gold and rusted iron, sat Leprechaun. No longer the trickster in a green coat, he'd evolved. His skin cracked like burnt wood, his eyes pools of liquid gold. When he smiled, the air bent around him. "Ah, my old friends," Leprechaun hissed, voice slick as oil. "Michael's spirit and the boy who ran. Tell me, Reggie, did you think one favor would end my work?" Michael's ghost appeared beside Reggie, translucent, eyes glowing white. "You broke your oath, Leprechaun." "No," the leprechaun purred, leaning forward. "I expanded it." Behind him, chained figures writhed, the souls of dealmakers who'd failed to pay. They screamed in silence, their mouths stitched with coins. Every man who trades his will for gain, every promise spoken over greed, their souls come to me. Reggie clenched his fists. "You killed Michael's family, you killed everyone." Leprechaun's grin widened. "No, boy, they killed themselves the moment they wished for more." Michael's spirit flickered, his form distorting with fury. "You can't keep feeding on them. I'll burn this market to the ground." Leprechaun rose from his throne, his shadow stretching across the tunnel. "Try it, spirit, but remember, fire only forges gold." The walls began to pulse like veins, the ground trembled. Reggie grabbed Michael's arm. His hand passed through him, but the contact sent a flash of cold lightning up his spine. And in that instant, he saw everything. Every deal Leprechaun ever made. Every death. Every soul chained in darkness, screaming his name. When the vision ended, Reggie was on his knees, gasping. Michael's voice whispered faintly, fading like a dying flame. "We can stop him, but we'll have to pay a price." And Leprechaun's laughter followed them out of the market, echoing all the way up to the streets of Shreveport. Chapter 3: The Debt of Fire. The smell of smoke came before the flames. Shreveport was burning, not in the way news cameras showed, but in quiet corners, in alleyways and church basements, where whispers turned to screams. People were dying again, deals were being collected. Reggie hadn't slept in days. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw gold coins falling through fire. And Michael's ghost, once a faint light, was now stronger, more defined. The dead had ways of growing powerful around death. They were driving down Yori Drive when they heard the sirens. Another explosion, the third that week. Reggie pulled the car over near the old cathedral, heart racing. "He's claiming the unpaid," Michael said, voice low, like thunder in water. "Every deal made through greed, Leprechaun calls it in by fire." They stepped out. The air reeked of burning wood and gasoline. A pawn shop was in flames, one of those grimy spots that dealt in more than just gold. Through the heat, Reggie saw something moving inside, not a man, not human. A figure hunched over the counter, dragging its hand across the glass. Each pass left trails of glowing runes, Celtic, like in the market. Reggie grabbed his jacket sleeve to shield his mouth. "We have to go in." Michael appeared beside him, a white shimmer of anger. "He's marking more contracts. He's spreading the curse again." Reggie kicked the door in. The heat hit him like a wave. The creature turned, a man's face, but half melted, half gold. His eyes glowed red, and his voice was pure static. "The debt must be paid." Michael's ghost lunged forward, his aura flaring bright, his voice booming in that hollow, dual tone. "By fire you bind, by fire you die." The spirit slammed into the creature, and for a moment, everything froze, then exploded in a shockwave of light and ash. When Reggie woke, he was outside, coughing on the curb. Michael's spirit hovered above the flames, flickering. He looked weaker. "You used power," Reggie said. "You're fading." "Every time I fight him, I burn a part of what's left of me," Michael answered. "But we're running out of time." From the smoke, something metallic clinked and rolled to Reggie's feet. Another coin, scorched but intact. On one side, Leprechaun's face, smiling. On the other, a new symbol, a serpent swallowing its tail. "It's the chain," Michael whispered. "He's linking them, a network of souls bound to his favor. He's turning Shreveport into a forge." Reggie stared at the coin, then looked up at the burning sky. "Then we'll break the chain." Michael's eyes flickered faintly gold. "There's only one way to do that. We have to find the first contract, the one that bound him." "Where?" Michael turned toward the rising smoke. "Back where it all began, the bayou." Thunder cracked overhead, and as they drove south, the city lights flickered, one by one, until the whole skyline pulsed gold. Far below, in the market, Leprechaun watched through the flame of a melted candle and smiled. "Come back to me, little ghosts," he hissed. "Come pay what's owed." Chapter 4, Blood in the Bayou. The road south out of Shreveport cut through the swamp like a scar. The air hung thick with fog and rot, and the moonlight barely made it through the cypress canopy. Reggie gripped the steering wheel, jaw tight. He hadn't said a word since they left the city. Michael's spirit flickered in the passenger seat, his outline half there, half not, eyes glowing faint blue. "This is where it began," Michael murmured. "Before me, before any of us." Reggie glanced over. "What do you mean?" Leprechaun wasn't born a leprechaun. He was made from a deal gone wrong. A monk who tried to buy grace from a demon with blood instead of prayer. Reggie frowned, and he became that. Michael nodded, the faint light of his form pulsing with sorrow. The first favor ever made in blood forged him. The demon that took the deal gave him endless life in exchange for endless servitude. They parked near an old wooden bridge, half collapsed into the bayou. The smell of stagnant water and old iron filled the air. At the end of the bridge stood a small, decrepit chapel, leaning sideways, its bell rusted and broken. On the door was the same serpent symbol, carved deep, still wet with something that looked like blood. Reggie pulled his flashlight and stepped forward. "You sure about this?" "No," Michael whispered, "but it's where the first book was written, the book I found years ago." The inside of the chapel was worse. Pews overturned, candles melted into the floor, a single altar covered in gold coins and bones. At its center, the book. Older, darker, the cover stitched with something that looked like skin. Reggie's hands trembled. That's the original. The first contract, Michael said. Every deal since traces back to it. Reggie approached slowly, the floor creaking beneath him. He opened the book, and the smell hit him first: iron, smoke, and death. Inside, names, thousands of them, written in shifting ink. Some names glowed faintly, burning out as they read them. "Those are the ones who have paid," Michael whispered. "And the rest?" Reggie asked. "Still waiting." Suddenly, the candles around them ignited green fire. The ground split open beneath the altar, and Lorcan rose, half shadow, half fire, chains wrapped around his arms. His smile was jagged gold. "Did you think you could erase the ink?" he hissed. "You're not God, boy, you're just next in line." Michael stepped forward, light pouring off him like moonfire. "You cursed my blood, my soul, I'm ending it tonight." Lorcan's laughter rattled the chapel walls. "You can't end what you are, you're part of me now. My favor gave you life beyond death. You are my debt, Michael Scott." The ghost's glow faltered. Reggie saw panic in his eyes, something the dead weren't supposed to feel. "He's right," Michael said, voice shaking. "I can't kill him, not without killing myself." Reggie looked at the book, the writhing names, the shifting ink. "Then I will." He grabbed the book and tore a page free, the one glowing brightest. The letters twisted into Michael's name. "Reggie, don't." He dropped the page into the green fire. Lorcan screamed. The entire chapel shook, the walls bending, the sky outside turning to black smoke. Michael's ghost began to disintegrate, his body flickering like static. "You broke the link," he whispered. "It's working." Lorcan clawed at the air, his form fracturing, turning to gold dust. "You fool," he snarled. "You can't erase a debt, you can only transfer it." Reggie fell backward as the floor split apart completely. The book flew from his hands, pages bursting into flames that spiraled around him like a tornado. When the smoke cleared, Lorcan was gone. The book too. Only the echo of Michael's voice remained, soft and fading. "You did it, but remember, Reggie. The favor's never free." The chapel collapsed into the swamp, leaving only silence and the faint gleam of one last gold coin sinking slowly beneath the black water. Chapter 5: The Price of Redemption. The bayou was silent when dawn broke, too silent. No birds, no frogs, no hum of life, only the wind whispering across the water like a sigh. Reggie woke half buried in mud, coughing up smoke and swamp water. His clothes were shredded, his skin burned in patches. The chapel was gone, swallowed by the earth like it had never been. He stumbled to his feet, every muscle screaming. The air shimmered faintly gold, heat rippling above the water. "Michael," he called, voice hoarse. Only the echo came back, then a faint shimmer in the fog. Michael's ghost appeared at the water's edge, pale and fractured, like a reflection breaking apart. "You did what I couldn't," he said quietly. "You broke the chain." Reggie stared, tears streaking through the mud on his face. "Then why doesn't it feel over?" Michael looked at him for a long moment. The air around his spirit pulsed, like a heartbeat fading out. "Because it is. You burned my name out of the book. That broke my curse. But Lorcan's debt didn't vanish, it moved." Reggie's hands trembled. "Moved where?" Michael's gaze shifted downward. "To you." Reggie froze. The gold shimmer in the water brightened, wrapping around his legs like mist. He looked down and saw coins rising slowly from the mud, circling him. "No, no, I didn't make a deal." "You didn't have to," Michael said softly. "You paid for mine." The gold coins began to melt, forming lines that crawled up Reggie's skin, searing, burning, marking him. His veins turned faintly gold beneath the surface. "I won't let it take you," Michael said, stepping closer. His ghost flickered, reaching out. "There's one chance left." Reggie grit his teeth, pain twisting his face. "Tell me." You have to bind him again, not destroy him. Use the book, seal him in your name. Reggie looked around. The book was gone, swallowed by the swamp. But then the water moved, parting, and the Book of Favors rose slowly from the black depths, dry, untouched, glowing faintly in his direction. He took it, his hands burned on contact. The pages flipped on their own, stopping at a blank one, waiting. Michael's spirit stepped closer, light dimming. Write your name, Reggie. Bind him, end it. Reggie picked up a shard of glass from the mud, sliced his palm, and let the blood fall onto the page. The book drank it greedily, the ink swirling like veins spreading from his name. The gold light around him pulsed, then turned red. The ground trembled, the air split open, and Lorcan's voice filled the bayou, no longer smug, but furious, desperate. You think you can cage me again? You'll carry me inside you, boy. You'll never be free. Reggie's scream mixed with the sound of thunder as the light engulfed him. Michael's ghost stepped forward one last time, his face calm now, peaceful. I'm sorry, he whispered. I asked for this, you just paid the cost. Reggie's eyes flashed gold, then black. The light burst outward, a shockwave rippling through the swamp, toppling trees, boiling the water. When it was over, the bayou was still again. The book lay open on the ground, smoking. And Reggie was gone. Only his reflection remained in the water, smiling faintly, even though his mouth didn't move. A single gold coin drifted past and sank. From the darkness below came Lorcan's voice, faint, echoing. A deal's a deal, lad, until the next favor's called. And then silence. Epilogue, the pawnshop window. Weeks later, downtown Shreveport. A pawnshop reopened after the fire, same spot, same shelves. Inside, the owner unlocked a new display case. Among the watches, knives, and rings sat a small, leather-bound book. No title, just a faint gold mark of a serpent eating its tail. As he turned away, the book's cover twitched, and a single whisper escaped, soft and smiling. Who'll be the next to make a deal?